Hey, Michelle, we've been doing these Wednesday night insights for over a year now, and they've been really successful. I hear from people all the time about what they get out of them. And we just want to make a request today. If you don't already give regularly in a recurring way to Mile High Church, would you consider doing so? Just going to our website, milehighchurch.org, and making a gift. It could be $1 a week, it could be $10 a month, whatever works for you. But I think that consistent giving, Michelle, it helps me feel more engaged to watch the programming, to get engaged with it, and then I feel like I'm supporting my spiritual community as well.
That's great. And it's really easy to do to, as he said, go to our website and allow this gift that's been supporting you to be a circle where you can support back consciously. It will always bless you, bless us. What a joy it is to be in that circle of abundance.
Thank you.
Well, good evening. And for this Wednesday night insight, I want to talk about worry and stress. I know that may not be the most relevant topic. Not many people experience those things. Actually, the truth is they're epidemic. The amount of worry. Think about some of the last conversations you've had with somebody and how often and how prevalent themes of worry or themes of the stress that they carry with the worry, how often that came up. Yeah, I think it is epidemic. And you got to figure, where is it getting us when we hang out in that territory? I love this quip. I've used it before. And it really is telling us there's only two things to worry about ever. And so you've only got two things to worry about. Either you're healthy or you're not. Now, if you're healthy, you've got nothing to worry about. If you're not healthy, you've only got two things to worry about. Either you're alive or you're not. Now, if you're alive, you've got nothing to worry about. However, if you're not alive, you've only got two things to worry about. Either you're going to heaven or you're going to hell. Now, if you're going to heaven, you've got nothing to worry about. And if you're going to hell, well, you've got nothing to worry about either, because all your friends will be there to greet you and hang out with you. I love that. What if we kept it sort of simple like that, though? I'm alive, I'm breathing. What have I really got to worry about? I guess it's looking at the tax and the toll that worry takes upon us and realizing that it may not be practical and functional, but it really is a habit nonetheless. I want to tell you about a dear, dear man. I loved him, respected him eminently, felt privileged to hang out with him for a whole long time. One of our finest practitioners at Mile High Church. His name was Bill McGee. As a young man, Bill McGee worked hard and he elevated himself to the position of president of the Jorgensen Steel Corporation in this town. He wasn't the overall president, but he was in the local Jorgensen Steel here in the Denver area. And it was a very esteemed position, and it was eating him up. He told me that he was on handfuls every day, handfuls of meds to control blood pressure and his worry and all the other side effects of this. He was just, these pharmaceuticals were going down him like candy. And he wasn't a happy man. But he said, I've got to run this company. I'm worried about it. And I've got 2 kids and a wife and obligations. And it was just eating him up. Well, he tells me that he went into a drugstore and he was putting in another prescription for yet another pharmaceutical to help him control these symptoms. And it was going to take him a little bit to fill it, so he wandered around and got into the magazine section. And he saw a little magazine called The Science of Mind, which is the magazine of our movement. Been in publication nearly 100 years, over 90 years. And he picked it up and he was just browsing through it. He didn't even know what it was. But he came upon an article. And it was about a businessman who was in a hurry and he was rushing in San Francisco and he was rushing to try to catch a trolley car. And finally he caught up with it and he just jumped on and the people helped pull him on. And he was holding his briefcase, a big heavy briefcase, and holding on, riding on this trolley car for a few minutes. And finally a little lady behind him tapped him on the shoulder and said, you know, if you put down that heavy briefcase, the trolley car will take it along too. The message being, we can set down our burdens. We can set them down and they'll go on with us. We don't have to carry them. Bill read that in that drugstore and he teared up. He bought the magazine and he went home and he said, I read every single word of it from page to page, from the cover to cover, every word of it. And he had this epiphany. He realized he was taking an inner stance that was racking his body, making him unhappy, and it didn't have to be that way. And so he started making a whole lot of change. He ordered tons of our books. He studied them. He began to shed all of this weight and this energy and this worry, and he started using his mind in a different way. Because we're at the helm. We can take it anywhere we want to go the way we think. And over a few months, he weaned himself off all of those pharmaceuticals, he said. And he found that there was a joy that bubbled up in him. It had been put down for so long, a joy in living, and a kind of greater sense of strength than he had when he was worrying every second. And he just started floating in a new way of life, and he was even more effective in his job. Everybody in his personal life felt relieved and overjoyed. He told me there was one time when a vice president of his pulled him into his office. And he said, Bill, no criticism about what the job you're doing. You're a great leader for us, but I'm worried about you, Bill. I know that, you've been just so happy and carefree around here lately that I know you must be on some heavy duty drugs, illicit drugs, and I want to get you help, Bill. And Bill just fell over laughing. He said, the only drug I'm on is God and life and a new way of being. And Bill went on to continue an illustrious career. He became a spiritual practitioner here of the highest order and a good fishing buddy of Fred Vogt and myself. But you see, on the other side of worry and stress, there are alternatives that aren't just frivolous and Pollyanna. They're the product of a new strategy in life. It's deciding that I'm going to practice and develop trust. Now, I know some folks would say trust. That's airy-fairy. You trust in some invisible power, trust in this. Well, let me put it to you this way. When we worry, 95 or more % of what we're worrying about isn't real. It hasn't happened. So that's airy-fairy, if you really want to put it. You're believing in something that is non-existent. And so understand this. There's a phrase that where attention goes, energy flows. And so that's my responsibility. If I want to create greater energy and breakthroughs and life, I got to work with my attention and take it in a productive way that lifts me up and brings out the best in me, not hammers it down. Ernest Holmes, he wrote that when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. Trust. We can start developing it. Now you might say, trust the universe. Oh, that sounds so metaphysical and invisible. But once again, I remind you, much worry is about stuff that isn't real. But let me ask this. Who created you? Did you create yourself? No. A power and intelligence far greater than you are is the genesis of your life. You didn't create your life. You didn't create this body. This morning, you didn't think about getting the brain working, getting your heart pumping, your lungs moving, the glands secreting. Intelligence works on that. You didn't create this universe you're privileged to live in, this earth, and all this stuff around, but power did. When I talk about trust, I'm talking about realizing the invisible, all-intelligent, loving power of this universe that has created you, that sustains you, and has created everything else. Now, to me, it makes a whole lot more sense to trust in that than to carry stress and worry over stuff that may not even have happened. And even if it is happening, it's not bringing our best self to the table, is it? So I invite you into some practices. I invite you to catch yourself when you're just in that cycle of worry and building up stress and just saying, stop it. Stop it. I'm more than this. And start remembering that about you, that you're a creative being and your creativity flows when you're happy and you're relaxed. Because you see, many people think, the most practical thing is take a defensive posture in life. But that's calling in stuff. That's thwarting our best energies. Remember, I'm a spiritual being. I'm a creative being. And I choose to step to the helm of my awareness and remember that life is good. There's a power, invisible though it may be, that's creating it all. And I want to be in league with that. And I want to trust that in the moment I need to know something, it'll guide me. I'm going to trust that when I need the resources inwardly to do something, they're there. The courage, the enthusiasm, the creativity, they're there. And I'm going to call on those in the moment. And the rest of the time, I'm just going to have a good time and enjoy the ride of life. I'm going to set the burdens down and let life take me forward. I bless you in that. It's a great way to live.
So we just take a breath. Allow ourselves to feel grounded, feet planted, seat planted, attuning to the vibrations of Mother Earth beneath us. Feeling that sense of groundedness, even as we move into this place of prayer. So in this moment, as I acknowledge one power, one presence, one life, this life of unconditional love, this vibrational energy that attunes me to the highest truth of who we all are, this collective expression of the divine. And using this energy of Mother Earth to keep me present in the human experience, but while also recognizing a higher spiritual truth. Knowing that there's a place in the middle where we play, we exist, we are. And so as I know the truth of myself, I know the truth of you, of all of us, that we are here on this human journey to express and experience the fullness, the richness of life and who we are. And yet this human journey takes us in places, moves us in ways that we may not fully understand, and we may not even know that we don't know. But we have this ability in our teaching and this truth of taking a breath and allowing the energy of life itself to fill us, to inform us, to reconnect us and renew our awareness of who we are. And we move into this place of a kind of acceptance of what is, while also knowing we have the spaciousness to move beyond any condition that no longer serves. Oh, I take another breath right here to remember who I am and who we are. That we are here to release that which no longer serves and to fully claim the highest truth of who we are and why we're here. And so in this allowance and this letting go and this spaciousness of gratitude, I just give thanks. Truly, truly all is well. I release these words. I release these words into a creative law, a creative medium, a creative process that I absolutely trust. I let go, and all is well. And so it is.